Some churches are turning to political tussle ground where wealth are amassed is no longer news. A typical example is what is presently going on in the Lord's Chosen Charismatic Movement Church, Ijesha, Lagos, Nigeria. Information we gathered from insiders reveals that what goes on in that church is what can be likened to the more you look, the less you see. We stumbled on Pastor Nnamdi of Fuebu, the traditional ruler of Omodiawa Kingdom in Umuahia area of Abia State. He is also the Chief Executive Officer of NAMSA Group of Companies and the publisher of Whispers magazine. And today, the founding pastor of Christ Chosen Generation Revival Ministry in Stocktown, Lagos. Nnamdi of Fuebu revealed to us that at a time in his life, he started to know God and to have a cordial relationship with him. As such, came in contact with the Lord's Chosen Charismatic Movement, pastored by Lazarus Muoka of Fuebu, sheds more light.
I come in contact with Pastor Lazarus Muoka in 2003. About July 2003. And that is when I came to the church to look and seek the face of God. And that is when I came to the church. Since ever then, I remained there till 2006, thereabout September 2006.
According to him, in that church, he had a special place he sits in recognition of his title and fame as a rich man in the society.
I don't know the pattern of their church when I got to the church. What I know that I was given a seat, and I enjoyed the companies and the congregation. I loved the people that I met at the time I met them. And I was given that place, and I was sitting and coming to the church, and then offered the much I can do at the time I was in the church.
Pastor Nnamdi said that at a point, Pastor Lazarus came to his house to tell him that God has called him, Nnamdi of Fuebu, to be a pastor.
Pastor in question, Lazarus Muoka, came to my house at the time I joined the church, and he came to my house and told me that God told him that I am a pastor. I should come on and then support the church, commit the church. And while I was there, while he was discussing with me, his lawyer, barrister Obioma Oti was there, and they convinced me beyond doubt that the best investments in this world is to invest in the things of God, and I will gain it as much as possible, and God will also increase me in every area.
Pastor Lazarus, seeing Nnamdi as a potential financial juggernaut who can be used to promote his ministry, assigned Fuebu to lead evangelism team and planting of home care churches in Festac, Ikoyi and environs, to the extent of going to Dubai, Abidjan and other foreign countries. Nnamdi in all this place was said to foot the bills with a promise of refund.
When I get to the church, barely 6 months old, the place where we have not zinc, halfly zinc, and the floor was not made. We are just at the beginning of managing to come up, and then he told me that the best thing to do is to invest greatly. Whatever that I can do, I should do it. And then he is the pastor that is telling me, encouraging me to do it. That it's a life thing. It's a life investment that I will reap greatly. I look at it as a man that having such vision and believing in his word. I can see I have some amount of money that I intended to use for building up a hotel. And I put all effort, I use it, and then I soak it into the church in every area, because he said that in the areas of establishing the churches and establishing the going for evangelism, soaking and letting the world know about what is going on in the church, what God is doing in the church. And I said, well, this is a good project, because to establish the churches all over the world and then publicize the church greatly, I took it upon myself. Then I began the work, because based on the issue, he told me that how he will refund, not only refunding, with a great interest. With a great interest. And I don't have any doubt in my mind to doubt him or to think otherwise, because I believe he's a man of God, a man of God.
Out of curiosity, we asked to know how much Ofwebu spent in the lost choosing. He revealed to us that he spent 370 million naira, excluding tithes and offering and seed sowing.
In which he said that he will give me a fund to me. This area I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the areas of sowing seed and offerings and pledges and all that. No, I'm talking the areas of the investment proper. Where you talking about to go this area, evangelize this area. For instance, you come to the evangelize first stack. He will pay me whatever that is. I came in and evangelized first stack. I bought in the magazines, I fueled the cars, the buses, bring in the evangelizer. We all go around day and night, weeks to weeks, month to months. We were doing all that. And that at the same time, I went into the Ikoyi, established the fellowship center in Ikoyi, bought in, taking the buses, about 12 buses on daily basis. You can see what I'm talking about, almost on daily basis, almost on week to weeks. So you're going to Ikoyi, evangelize the whole area, buy hundreds of thousands of magazines that is sold at 30 naira, and buying all those magazines and buying even the books, buying the cassette, and sharing them to people freely, and then getting a fellowship center, and then doing all that. It is millions that we are talking about. And if we're talking about how much can I estimate, for instance, when I first was collapsed for Jesus Christ, cannot even talk about 20 to 30 million naira. You're talking about to convince and bringing people to the. It's a great organizing crowd. It's a great thing. If you look at how people can organize crowds, even in politics, they tell you how many billions that they spent on campaigning. It is a great amount of money. Going on televisions, going on newspapers, or talking about it, to bring in the things. It is a great amount of money. So those are the area. If you're talking about first stack, you can talk about 20 million. Talk about Ikoyi, taking all the evangelists, about 300 to 400 people going on day, on night, doing all that, going on papers, going on radios. You can see how many times I have even had come to this church issue on the radio, on the televisions. I have done all that. So I established the fellowship center in Ikoyi. I paid all my money. It is not church money. Fueling the cars, bringing the evangelists, it is worth over 30 to 40 million naira.
Okay, sir, I learned you equally opened the church in Dubai. Did you collect money from him to do that?
The church has not ever given me a dime. I single-handedly organized a crusade in Nevada. And organized a crusade, they're bringing about 300 to 400 evangelists, about 12 to 15 buses from Lagos to Ibadan. And for 3 weeks, thereabout, or 2 weeks thereabout, they stay there to evangelize the area, and they order. It is not a small money. Feeding them, keeping them in the hotels for those weeks. How many millions are you talking about? Talking about establishing Abidjan. I established the Abidjan branch with my money, for God's sake. And he say he will reform me with a great interest. I'm not talking about even the interest. I'm talking about what he has said that he reform me. He's talking about Dubai. When he sent me there for the crusade, and I went there to organize a crusade. You can imagine this is a foreign country. They spend in dollars. They don't spend in naira. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and to organize a crusade, with dinner. And that's the first time. And also coming, I bought the ticket, I bought the visas, I got the visas, I did all that with other pastors that are coming. All these are paid. And he said he would reform me. Well, when he fell to come, because a high work has been done. The second time I did again, and they said he would pay me and all that. Even the third time, when I was sent to also Dubai to establish Dubai again, the third time, the first time, the second time, the third time he sent me again, was a pastor called Pastor Stanley Nnaji. Pastor Stanley Nnaji. No, Nnaji. Or Nadi. Or Nnaji. Whichever one, either Nadi or Nnaji. Pastor Stanley is a pastor in Imo State. He's the pastor in Imo State. You can confer from him. That pastor left the church. And Pastor Lazarus told me to recover him. To bring him in. And I should do whatever that he tells to bring him in. And when they are convinced, the young man, and the young man came back, and the Pastor Lazarus told me that he will go and head the Dubai branch, and we agreed on that agreement. I went to the third time to establish his residency, to establish and getting the fellowship, getting the fellowship center and all that. And the day the young man decided, the day the young man supposed to come to Dubai, Pastor Lazarus said he can no longer go there. That same day he took his bag from his house, and the booking and everything has been made. He's supposed to travel the same day to Dubai. Pastor Lazarus told him he cannot go. I called him from Dubai, and he said I shouldn't bother, that I should calculate all the things that I have spent, the first one, the second one, the third one, that he will pay me. And all that. I came back and I tabulated them. He said that I should hold on a little bit, that he will pay me. Where is it? And all these things are the thing. And I went also the fourth time with another pastor, Pastor Ndubeze, Jude. So that's the other pastor. I went there again to Dubai because he gave me another pastor. I went there again, buying ticket, doing all these things is my own expense. I was doing it. And this is the visa I got for you. This is the visa for you. And which you have. I bought the first class ticket. This is a visa for you. Which you have. This is a copy of the visa for your wife. Which you have. And the data there. This is also the passport you said that you were coming with. It's also a visa for him also. This is pastor. And all these were done.
Why then did he leave the church? And why has it suddenly turned into a public affair such that people now read about it on the pages of our national dailies?
They will rope you in to come into the church and do the work and invest. And when the church is about yielding dividend and the interest has come in, they will bring in one excuse or the other to strike you out. As I am talking to you, a lot of people have sold their stores. A lot of people that have sold their pensions, their hard-earned money into that church. But what is happening today? They have been promised of miracles. They have been promised of so many things that are coming. Do you know what? Do you know that even though as they are spending it, they are spending on the name of the God of choosing. They are not spending it on the name of Jesus Christ. They are spending on the name of God of choosing. That's where the problem is. And because there's nothing that happens unless it's God of choosing. And I am talking about that this issue, I have made a greater mistake because I did not know that I spend it in the God of choosing instead of spending the money for Jesus Christ. In Jesus Christ, you spend the money, you reap it back. Because whatever you sow, you get back. I have sowed. I have not reaped back. But the one I'm talking about is the one that he said he would reform me. Now, the time he's supposed to reform me, the church has blossomed. Come with several, we bought the land, we built the church. Everywhere the church is known. Now, he found an excuse. I said, oh, you have committed a sin. You have committed a sin. What sin have I committed? I have not committed a sin that will warrant him to tell me that the investment that I have made cannot be given to me. The interest in which he had built me. I was sitting in my house. Let me use this one. I was sitting in my house with JJ. He came to my house and told me that the God who told him that I am a pastor. I agree with that. There's no contention. There's no qualms. Yes. But I didn't know that that is a way to drag me in to rob me. I was robbed. I was defrauded. That is the greatest 419. I left the church for the reasons that I was alleged. After he knew that he don't want to refund my money, he alleged that I have committed a sin. I have sinned. And even though I have sinned, what sin have I sinned? He is not a God to forgive. And I have not committed sin, but he said that I have committed sin. Fair enough. And we came in, and a lady was brought in. A lady that I knew before I come to the church. And even that lady come to the church because of me. And he came to the church. That's a lady that I took that lady to the same Pastor Lazarus. He canceled the lady. He canceled the lady. And then, at what time? When I was not born again, before I came to the Lord chosen, I was a businessman, a company executive, a traditional ruler, a publisher. And then I came to the church. And then knowing full well that a traditional ruler can marry 2 or 3 wives. I didn't know that I'm not supposed to marry 2 or 3 wives. It was in them that I was preached to understand that I'm not supposed to marry 2 or 3 wives. I've engaged with another woman to marry, which I introduced to Pastor Lazarus. But that Pastor Lazarus counseled me and said that no, it is a sin to marry a second wife. And he is a Pastor Lazarus who told the lady to pack away and go, and which was honored and obeyed. And then this woman also introduced to him, to Pastor Lazarus. I have not committed a sin. The sin I committed was before I become a born again, or before I came to the Lord chosen. And then he used it because I told him that I have done this before I have come to the church. And this lady used to be a friend of mine. And then he used the same lady that I introduced to him as a friend of mine against me. And said that we have committed sin. No. When he called me, I said, no, I told you about this girl. I never committed sin with this girl. I never committed immorality. Since I become a born again, I never done it. Since you have made me a pastor, I have never committed it. The same person that came from where I was, in the first act where I am, I become a leader, that said that I committed a sin? No. Is there anybody that came and said that where I am, that I committed a sin, I committed immorality? No. Is there anybody that came and tell you that I committed immorality? No. Where I went to establish Abidjan, did anybody come and said that I committed a sin? No. Why come the person I introduced here using the person against me? And that was trashed because he didn't want to refund me because I've invested. He used me and dump me and then trample upon me and then cast me out. I was in a battle. The element is that I develop a battle. I will manage a battle. I will, whatever the proceed that I get a battle, I will pay certain percentage to the church so that I can use some proceed from there and feed my family. I have, for God's sake, I have 7 children. 4 of them or 3 of them are in Covenant University. And some of them are in Abia University. For God's sake, I have responsibility.
We equally gathered from Pastor Muoka's junior sister's husband. That is his brother-in-law, Pastor Emmanuel Njowa, one of the founding pastor of the Lord's Chosen, but now the pastor of Lord's Brethren Charismatic Reconciliation Ministry, Elasamanja, Lagos, on why he pulled out from the Lost Choosing Charismatic movement.
My name is Pastor Emmanuel Njowa. I was a national pastor of the Lost Choosing Charismatic Revival Ministries worldwide. By the grace of God, I ministered to Pastor Lazarus Muoka when he was yet an unbeliever, when I was pastoring in their village. That was far before I married his junior sister. So you can equally call me an in-law to Pastor Lazarus Muoka, and also his spiritual advisor or his spiritual father. Thank you.
So, sir, can you tell us why you left the Lost Choosing?
I left the Lost Choosing just because I don't like the way he is following matters. He refused to take counsel and want to force me to give a false witness and to compromise my stand spiritually. I said no, I will not. Instead, I bow out.
Information reaching us says that some members of the church can hardly feed themselves. Yet it is said that Pastor Lazarus Muoka lives in a mansion in Lagos from a 2-bedroom flat, owns properties abroad, uses fleets of cars with siren, and owns conglomerates of businesses. How then do we reconcile the series of testimonies and poverty that some members suffer? Are the testimonies really true?
You see, in testimonies, they teleguide people what to say. If you want to give testimony, they will tell you, go to testimony interviewers. And the testimony interviewers will teleguide you and repackage you and tell you what to say. Even though that you come to give you thanks that you had a baby, they will tell you to tell that even the baby was dead inside their stomach. So that it was only when you call the God of choosing the baby resurrected inside his stomach. Or they will tell you again that you have gone to many hospitals. You have gone to the specialist or to special hospital all over the world and you couldn't, no solution. And then, that as soon as you come to the church, you go to the choosing church, then the God of choosing delivers you. This is the package. It is the kind of frame mind. They have to reframe their mind, reframe their thought. A simple testimony, what we give, they will repackage it. For instance, they will tell you there was a man that said that he got a contract of 1.5 million naira. From 1.5 million naira to 5 billion naira. A testimony. But the same man sees you going with the leg without even a car. From 1.5 million naira to 5 billion naira. A man that said that he got a contract of 100,000 naira. They told him to escalate it to 12 billion. And they used it, and it was in the newspapers, it was in their church newspapers. Making people believe that as soon as you call the God of choosing, that is something will happen. Even there are so many, all sorts of kind of things. How many can I count? People will come and label people, you are HIV cured. No single one are cured. These are fake miracles. These are fake testimonies. Being packaged and repackaged.
Can all these be true? Who really is Pastor Lazarus Muoka? Who do people say he is?
I came with all my regalia as a traditional ruler. I came with some of our escorts. And after a while, he told me that I shouldn't be using escort. I dispatched my escort. Today, he's using escort. When I came into the church, he was living in 2-bedroom apartment in Elasa. And what happened? 2-bedroom apartment. Today he's living in a mansion. He made us know that you don't need to live in a big house. You don't need to have all these big cars. But today, from 2-bedroom apartment in Elasa to a mansions, and from 2-bedroom apartments to billions, where did you get all this money? Under 2 years, 3 years. He has made such a become when you have a properties and money cash worth of 20 billion naira. You have properties in America, have properties. Where did you get this money? Is it not robbing Dick for Harry? It's not robbing men. A lot of people, traders, have soaked their money into the church by like so-called deception. So this is why we are talking about. The government has to look into this. And a lot of people will talk about this matter. And there's so many of them that will come into this matter and speak in their mind what they have seen in the Lord chosen.
Reports have shown that he takes his ex-members to police with series of allegations. Should all these be obtained in the house of God, who really is fooling who?
You spent hundreds of millions to put me in jail so that to prove you are a man of God, but God frustrated you. This is a false accusation. You went simply because I left the church. You are going up and down, plotting evil against me, and but God frustrated you. Look the second one. Again, you came again. The second one, you laid allegation against me that I am a threat. A threat of what? What will I threat about? About what? I have never in any way in this world plotted evil against any man. I have never done it.
Yeah, I would like to comment seriously here, because when Pastor Lazarus Muoka attempted taking Unveiled to the police, I objected to it. I told him, no, you don't have to take a pastor to the police before the unbelievers. The Bible is against this. If you read 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1, the Bible said you dare not take a brother to be before the unbelievers, before the law to unbelievers. You don't do that. Let us settle these things in the church. I was surprised to see that he went and called police for Unveiled. It is very, very wrong. And this, I stand my ground. I said, I can't advise you otherwise. Withdrew the case from the police. Let's settle it among the Church of God. And they refuse. And I still see them up to now going to the police. And this thing is unchristian. It does not speak good of a person that calls himself a man of God. I think all those things are satanic devices to fight against the Church of Jesus Christ. Because him as a pastor, I don't see him going this way, because I know he can pay Pastor Unveiled. What I see is that there are some people around him that is telling him otherwise. Because these things he told me really, go and tell this man to put down what he has spent and I will pay him back.
Has he paid?
I don't think he has not. So for him now to have labeled him one accusation or the other is purely satanic devices. I see it as evil. So I will advise him to redress his stand. I will advise Pastor Lazarus Muoka to redress his stand. Why? Because the same person you are trying to call a bad name now so as to nail him to the cross, you made him a pastor. He has spent his money in your church. You blow the trumpet about him in the pulpit, how he has been, evangelizing everywhere. You commend him before the entire church. Now how has he turned a Satan to you overnight just because he demanded for his money? So I see these things as purely unchristian.
Usually junior pastors go to their senior in the Lord for guidance, counsel and otherwise. However, we were shocked at Muoka's second wedding clips. The man who joined him to his second wife can hardly be recognized as a man of God. Are there some undertone dealings? Unveiled narrated to us that after his contact with that man, his zeal to spend his entire fortune at the Lord's choosing increased after the meal at that wedding, as if he was hypnotized, not knowing, according to him, that he was at the wrong place seeking God.
A wedding that have never been done in the presence of God. But this wedding was secretly made in a hired hall, a hired place, was not done in the church, was done by selective people. Those of us who are newly came into the church, who are newly born again, we do not know most of the things that are the way things, because I'm not wedded in the church. I didn't know much about the way the wedding goes in, because I'm a new man in Christ. Because the Bible says new man in Christ, all things are passed away. So when I came into the church, we were all cornered. And we are told that there's going to be a wedding. And then we are told that there's going to be a special meeting. And most of the people that are in the church, who have been the leaders in the church, we are not told. And some of us that are newly, maybe barely 1 year, are just selected and inform us in the morning, Saturday morning, that we should come to the church as emergency meeting. We came to the church in a very secret place. One corner place that called Ihala Hall. And that's where we were. And then, that's where, by the time we know it, there was a marriage made with the opposite, the base of what you have told us. A man that conducted the wedding, I saw something different. He had been preaching about don't use gold, don't use rings, and don't wear them, don't use them. The chain, the bangles, the rings, and all that. That the people that the pastors must put on suit. It's from there that I begin to put on suit. I don't have suit before I become born again. And now, the man that he came to wed him, I saw a different entirely. The man was wearing ring, wearing chains. The man was put on bangles, put on everything. The man has a very big long beard, like Osman bin Laden or whatever. I said, what is opposite? The pastor also told me that I should not to keep mustache. Now the man who's wedding him having no more than what you call mustache. And then he said, I become tough. I said, is it true? Can this be a marriage? And why is it this marriage is not done in the church? A question was asked. I asked him. He said, no, this is a special marriage. And a marriage that you have a pastor, the senior pastors in the church. Even the spiritual fathers in the church. I saw that this is not a marriage. This is a covenant. A covenant. Something that is greater than what you don't know about. With people we watch, that's where every day I ate that food, from then I ate that food, I become intoxicated and influenced and hypnotized. So that I was doing what I'm doing without minding. I begin to walk sheepishly. I become a zombie. So whatever that I do it even though that I prefer to eat, drink garri, and take every last money I have, put it in the church. And I know that many people that are doing the same thing. A lot of people might have sold their souls. I have had a series of complaints. Ever since that I've entered, I've never changed any new thing. But this one, the marriage was done in a secret hall, not in the church. And then the man that the wedded is not known anywhere. And then he brought up a formula. He brought up a Fanta, brought up a Coke. And then in the interim, looking at it spiritually, while the wedding was going on, and I got a ministration, that Coke represent darkness, that Fanta represent light. And then it turned that Fanta into Coke. And then that means he turned that Fanta into Coke. Because when you mention things, because it's from what you mention that it comes to stay. And then that Fanta enters into Coke. And the Coke will swallow the Fanta. It becomes black. But in the Bible says, darkness cannot comprehend the light. That means that the Fanta, he said, is a wife. That means Lazarus now is the Coke. That means the wife has entered into Lazarus and it becomes darkness. So we have been trying to find the spiritual contention or spiritual understanding of this marriage. And each time I probe in the spirit, I found out that there is a darkness. Each time I try to understand, there's a confusion in the spirit of the church. So that means there is darkness in this ministry.
Ofebu said that he had earlier left all to God to judge, but decided to demand for his money after Pastor Lazarus boasted that he could pay him off, that he was a nobody. This we confirmed from his brother-in-law, Pastor Emmanuel Njowa.
Then, talking about refund of money or not refund of money, when they were in this, tussle of writing in the national dailies, I remember vividly one of the day, Muoka called me and said, Pastor Emmanuel, go and tell Ofebu to stop writing these things in the daily. If it is the money he has put in the church, let him tabulate it and bring to him that he will pay him off. In fact, when I came to message Ofebu, it's like we wanted to quarrel. Permit me to use that word. Because I was not happy also. I tell him, mister, stop writing this things you are writing in the paper. Tabulate whatever you feel the church is owing you. If it is the money you put, and let us pay you. So Laz, sorry I call him Laz because I am fond of calling him Laz. Laz cannot deny that. I know him, he cannot deny that. If he ever denies it, then somebody somewhere is instigating him to do that. For his conscience will tell him that really these things I'm saying today is the truth.
Churches, we believe, should be a place where needs are met, where brotherly love are shared and lots more, not a place where each other are antagonized or intimidated.
You know that one evil that is going on in the society is you can be a friend of somebody, and the moment you leave the person will see a way of tarnishing your image. It is just very unfortunate that the same thing we see in the world is coming into the Christendom. Well, I left Lazarus Muoka, and because I left, he came to my house pleading that I should come back. I said, if you are ready to take counsel and put things right, I will come. But he refused. He could not take those counsel. I said, okay, I bow out. I am very, very surprised for him to brandish me with an evil name, that I am a dealer of arms at the sponsoring of Niger Delta movement and training of Masop. I don't know when it was when I was with him in the office that I was importing those things, or when I went to represent our church in Abidjan or in Singapore that I was importing and training, having the same opportunity training myself. So you see, these things are evil. You don't blackmail somebody. He is just blackmailing me because I left him. So it's very, very unfortunate. I can't reconcile it. Well, the law, the police will come and search now and see whether I have not imported anything in my life. I'm not an importer. I don't know how they import. I mean, in fact, I can't say anything about that. It's very, very unfortunate.
The Lord's Chosen Charismatic Movement is said to be barely 5 years old. Yet, billions of naira has been amassed. How is the foundation?
Are we going to tell the world? We are going to tell the world about how to. I need it now. We are going to tell the world about who is Lazarus. How he left his former church. How he robbed the watchman to establish his own church. How his wife died and who was responsible. How his children accused him of killing their mother. How his senior brother died and how his brother accused him of killing their mother. How he loaded the dead men, women that died in the church into a boot of a taxi and was arrested by the police. Who is the man that awaited him with his new wife? Who is that man? And how he used the man that waited him to hypnotize me. You eat of Holy Communion in the man's house. Fake miracles and testimonies. Mass death in the church buses at every crusade. Compile and compel all the pastors to sign 10 years without salary. Yes, you Lazarus, you have done it. A church under 5 years, a church under 5 years. You have accumulated buses, investments, land, properties over 20 billion naira. You have things, all your things in account and secret names you use to operate accounts. 5 years church, you accumulated over 20 billion naira. 2004, you were living in a 2-bedroom apartment wearing a 1 shoe. Lazarus. Under 2 years, 3 years, Lazarus, you have 20 billion operating, and you have made yourself a synagogue. The world will know, the government will know to investigate it. How come you have all this money? I met you when you were living in 2-bedroom apartment. 2004, Lazarus. You were living in a 2-bedroom apartment. You were wearing 1 shoe. You were happy even when I come to the church. When we go to the church, they never will take light. And there was not even enough resources to buy the fuel. Under 2 years, you have accumulated billions upon billions. You siphoned from the people's money. You have been boasted that you know all people. You have been boasted. The government will come into that to know who is Lazarus. Where are this money coming from? Who are the donors? Who are the donors? How did you get all this emergency wealth? How did you come into this work? There's a pastor that have been operating for the past 30 years, but they have not done this money. There have been deeper life. There have been redeems. There have been the winners. There have been so many other churches. How come under your 5 years you have been able to amass wealth? You have been able to for-one-nine people. You have been able to siphon and use the people and taking over resources. You will pay my money. You will pay me. There's no way you will not pay me. You will pay my money. I have spent my money. You have robbed me. You have defrauded me. You have for-one-nine me. You must pay me. You will pay my money. We will tell the world who is Lazarus. You have a cell, prison in the church, using police to harass, to intimidate, locking people up in the church. You say you have a top policeman to give you protection, to do whatever you commanded them to do, because you say you have authority from God. You have plan to assassinate a man, but you know the Bible says no weapon that form against me shall prosper. The Bible says every tongue that shall rise against me in judgment shall be condemned. This is the heritage of the servant of the Lord. The Bible says he disappointed the verses of the crafty that their hands cannot perform their enterprises. The Bible says for the purpose the Son of God was manifested in the Son the works of the devil. I am talking to you, Lazarus. The world will know who are you. You told your in-law, told your in-law that you should tell me. You tell your in-law, Pastor Emmanuel, who married your junior sister, you told him to come and tell me that whatever that I have spent, instead of me to be writing and speaking on the papers, he said that you should come and tell me so that you can pay me off my money instead of going to prison. Because of that, I wrote a letter and told you, after I have talked and think about it, I thought that you will use the money to buy off the vision that God had given me. I thought that we are going to use the money to suppress me. I thought that the money that they are going to give me is not a genuine money. I thought. Then until God told me to send the letter, I wrote the letter according to your word. According to your word, you changed the letter. You took the letter, take a different decision to go and rubbish me in the sight of the police, to go and rubbish me in the sight of the IG, to go and rubbish me in the sight of deputy IG. He said, you have trained me. I am just ordinary pastor. You hid my identity. Pastor Lazarus, are you a man of God? Are you a man of God? I have done. Remember, you promised so many women marriage. You promised them marriages. Remember the woman in America, you promised a marriage. Remember other sisters that you promised marriage? After fumbling with them, you committed immorality. Lazarus, you committed immorality in the life of other sisters. They are here to testify. They will expose you. You will be exposed. How you fumble them, how you make them, you hypnotize them. They do what they didn't want to do. They are here and they will testify. There are so many things they have to say, and they will say it. The world will know who is Lazarus.